Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. My name is Shay and I'm with the Ftmsweethearts channel. And today I'd like to introduce you to my friend Gavyn, who's recently written a book on how to transition. Tell me about it, Gavyn. What is your book about?
How to transition.
And what makes it so special?
Because it's for dumb people.
Oh, okay. Now, tell us, what are some of the ways that you transition?
You take hormones. You have surgery.
Okay. Now, what's the number one way to know that you are transgender?
The number one way to know you're trans is if as a child you licked trees.
Ah, that's a good one, yeah. What's the number two way?
The second way to tell if you're trans is if you desired a Mr. Hair tea cut from a very early age.
But I never did.
Well, then I guess you're not trans enough.
Not trans enough?
Bullshit.
Bullshit, sorry. There, is no way. There's no such thing as not being trans enough. There's no such thing as having a step-by-step guide. There's no list of tools.
If you ever see something like this, run.
Unless it was drawn by me, then you should pay me. Yeah. Sorry, we just do not believe or buy into the whole trans enough fucking shit that floats around on the internet.
Like, if you didn't go through this and this and this as a child, then that means you're not trans. And if you don't want this and this and this procedure and this and this and this hormone, that means you're not trans enough. Well, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's a private journey between you and your body, and the journey is about getting you to a happy place, getting you to somewhere where you feel comfortable in your body, interacting with the rest of the world. And if it's takes less surgery for you to do it than for me to do it, then hell yeah, I wish I had your dysphoria. Because I would rather, a $2,000 process versus an $800,000 process. I'm cheap.
Regardless, the point is, there's no one right way to transition. There's no blueprint. It's not up to anyone but you as the individual to determine how your transition is going to go down. If you even need to transition at all, because some trans people don't. It's up to you. That's the bottom line. Don't ever let anyone get in your head and try to dictate to you the things that you need to do to fit the gender stereotype that is so prevalent in our society.
Amen. So, Gavyn, what are some kind of statistics about bullying in the trans community?
Well, the statistics that I've managed to find in a very short period of time are very harrowing, very saddening, but just a small window into what our community has to cope with, not only in the older group, but also the younger youths. Here's some numbers for you. 41% of trans-identified people have attempted suicide, compared to a national estimated rate of 1.6. 35% respond with drugs and alcohol in an attempt to cope with harassment and bullying. 25% reported that they were currently or formerly homeless. 25 is the number of times a day a student will hear an anti-LGBT remark, and teachers fail to respond 97% of the time. LGBT youth are up to 3 times more likely to commit suicide than all other youth groups. 30% of all completed youth suicides are related to the issue of gender identity.
It's pretty devastating.
It's very sobering. And the scary thing about bullying is it's taken on so many different forms with the progression of technology. Used to there was just the typical face-to-face bullying, the schoolyard bullying, and now that has evolved into cyberbullying. It happens within our very own trans groups that are meant to be a space and a structure for support and healing and safety, and inevitably end up turning into a volatile, argumentative, bullying cesspit. And for me personally, at this point, that's what concerns me the most. Yeah. Fuck the man. Apparently they're very passionate about it too.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me the most, is the infighting within our own community, within the trans community, because we get it from the outside world every day, nonstop. That's expected. But to have your own community and your own brothers and sisters turn on you and say these things to you, it's gut-wrenching, because we're in this together. You know, we all share a common thread. We don't all identify the same way, we don't all transition the same way, but we share a common thread, and I would like for that common thread not to be to try to rip each other apart or turn it into a pissing contest about who's more trans than so-and-so, and well, you're not trans because you like to wear makeup. I know a lot of cisgendered guys that like to wear makeup, and I'd like for you to go tell them that, because they're pretty fucking big, and you just might get your ass stomped.
Yeah.
Not that I'm hoping for that.
So, in my personal life, the only way, awkwardly enough, the only really bullying I've ever gotten has been from my mother. Yay. And it's cute, because I realized that when my little sister, when she first started to, like, work with gay rights and stuff, and she, you know, apologized to me on behalf of all the straight people out there for gay bashing, and she asked, you know, had I been bullied or harassed a lot, and I told her no, not really, except for from our mother, and she was just like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's, you know, it's one of those shitty places that you get a lot of bullying from, that I think, and the only way to help it is to establish boundaries and not let them go over it, and stuff. I don't know what he's doing.
Is that a new National Geographic?
Yes, that's a new National Geographic.
Oh, yay.
And then another surprising place that I get bullied is actually from other partners of trans guys. Or not even trans guys, just other partners. I used to blog for a magazine called Original Plumbing, and I was blogging for them right when Gavyn was starting, and on one of them I discussed how I identify as a lesbian and why I do and stuff, and I remember one of the people that commented told me that they cringe every single time they see a young partner still insist on referring to themselves as a lesbian. They cringe. And it sucks really bad because, you know, in theory that was somebody I could have looked up to and admired and learned so much from, you know. And instead our interaction was negative and she bashed something that was important to me, and so we did not become biffles, pretty much. But yeah, so bullying from inside the partner community is odd, I think, and I also think a lot of you guys don't realize is that we pick on each other about the transness of our partners. I've seen that happen quite a bit, like when people are discussing the testosterone that your partner's taking, and all of a sudden it's like, well, my doctor said this kind of testosterone's good because it makes all these things happen, and your kind sucks because it doesn't make these things happen. See, Gavyn's bullying me. Anyways, I guess moral of the story is that bullying happens everywhere, and be careful, be mindful of what you're saying and how it can be perceived, and be considerate and think a little bit, open your mind a little bit and consider that the way that you're doing it might not be the way that works for somebody else.
Here's my moral of the story. if you're being bullied, you're giving them the power to make you feel those things by allowing what they say to you to affect you. That is what feeds a bully, is response. When you react to what they say, they're getting their dinner. Stop responding, stop reacting. It may still hurt you to the core, but do not let them see that, because that's what they feed on. Moral of the story, if you are bullying, let me catch you doing it.
We'll find you.
Because I will fucking shank your ass. There is no good reason for any sort of bullying to occur. There is always another way to accomplish something. So if you're a bully, you better figure out real fast how not to be one. Because you're getting on the out crowd, bitch.
Bye guys, have a good week.